जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवारधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवारधारी यशोधनन्दन ब्रजजनरञ्जन यशोधनन्दन ब्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा मदन मोहन राधे जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय गौरनिताय श्री गौरनिताय जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्री मसीह डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य बीबीटी फाउंडर आचार्य सेवियर ऑफ द होल वर्ल्ड जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्री मसीह डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So we welcome all of you for today morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we will be discussing from the verse number 46 and 47 from 25th chapter of 4th canto. The chapter entitled The Description of Characteristics of King Puranjana. So 46 verse only I will recite and read the translation purport, and then 47 we will recite together. Panchadarastu paurastya dakshinaika tathottara paschime dve anushamte namani nripavarnaye. Translation: My dear king, of the 9 doors, 5 lead towards the eastern side, 1 lead towards the northern side, 1 lead towards the southern side, and 2 lead towards western side. I shall try to give the names of these different doors. Purport: of the 7 doors on the surface, namely, here what is coming is a description of the 9 gates of the body is coming. So here are the 7 gates, 7 things. So the 7 doors on the surface, this is surface and 7 doors are here. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils and 1 mouth. So 5 of them look towards eastern direction, 2 and 1. These 5 look towards eastern direction, 1 looks towards south, 1 looks towards north. So that is there. Since looking forward means seeing the sun, these are described as the eastern gates of the sunrise in the east. The gate on the northern side and the gate on the southern side represent 2 ears, and the 2 gates facing the western side represent the rectum and genitals. All the doors and gates are described as below. Now this shloka will recite you can recite in the response. Khadyota virmukhi cha prag Dwara va ekatra nirmite Vibhrajitam janapadam Yati tabhyam dyumatsakha Khadyota virmukhi cha prag Dwara va ekatra nirmite Vibhrajitam janapadam Yati tabhyam dyumatsakha Khadyotar vimukhi cha prag Dwara va ekatra nirmite Vibhrajitam janapadam Yati tabhyam dyumatsakha. Khadyotar vimukhi cha prag Dwara ekatra nirmite Vibhrajitam janapadam Yati tabhyam dyumatsakha. Anybody? Khadyotar vimukhi cha prag Dwara ekatra nirmite Vibhrajitam janapadam Yati tabhyam dyumatsakaha. Any Matajis? Word to word translation. Khadyota of the name. Of the name Khadyota. Avirmukhi of the name Avirmukhi. Cha also. Prag towards the eastern side. Dwarau 2 gates. Ekatra in one place. In one place. Nirmite were constructed. Vibhrajitam of the name Vibhrajit. Janapadam city. Yati used to go. Tabhyam by them. Dyumad the name Dyuman. Of the name Dyuman, sorry. Sakaha with his friend. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhayacharya Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The 2 gates named Khadyota and Avirmukhi were situated facing the eastern side, but they were constructed in one place. Through those 2 gates, the king used to go to the city of Vibhrajita, accompanied by a friend whose name was Dyuman. So here the description of the body is coming, and here Khadyota and Vimurmukhi, Avirmukhi are the eyes. That purport it will come. Translation please recite in response. The 2 gates named Khadyota and Avirmukhi were situated facing the eastern side, but they were constructed in one place. Through those 2 gates, the king used to go to the city of Vibhrajit, accompanied by a friend whose name was Dyuman. Purport. The 2 names Khadyota and Avirmukhi means glowworm and torchlight. This indicates that of the 2 eyes, the left eye is less powerful in its ability to see. Although both eyes are constructed in one place, one is stronger than the other in the power to see. The king or the living entity uses these 2 gates to see things properly, but he cannot see unless accompanied by the friend whose name is Dyuman. This friend is the sun. Although the 2 eyes are situated in one place, they have no power to see without the sunlight. Vibhrajitam Janapadam. If one wants to see something very clearly, Vibhrajitam, he must see it with 2 eyes and the assistance of his friend, the sunlight. Within this body, everyone is a king, because he uses his different gates according to his own will. Although he is very much proud of his power to see or hear, he is nonetheless dependent on the assistance of nature. Om Ajnan Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratushe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangolangayate girim yat kripaha tamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram. Hare Krishna. So I seek blessings of Srila Prabhupada and Anmay Prabhuji so that I can describe something worthwhile on this beautiful verse of Srimad Bhagavatam for the glorification of Lord and for purification of my own heart. So in this verse, very amazingly it is told that what are our eyes compared to? Our eyes are compared to what? Glowworm and torchlight. You could see that in Parapet, that our eyes are compared to glowworm and torchlight. Now, can glowworm has any existence in bright sunlight? No. And can you show torch towards sun? No. I will show you sun by torchlight. Can you see like that? No. So the meaning is that our eyes are useless without the assistance. That is what is coming in the purport, that our eyes are not sufficient. Only these eyes are not sufficient to see some object unless and until it is assisted by the Dyuman. Dyuman is sun god. So like this, our situation is very, very hopeless. So our today's discussion will be this: hopeless to helpless to happiness. So in the initial part of the discussion, we will see this, how the senses work, as it is coming the initial part of the purport. Then we will see what is our situation in this material world, how we are hopeless in this material world. And this hopelessness should lead to helplessness, and that will lead to real happiness. So this will be our overall discussion. So then, how does one is able to function? Here it is told that Dyuman, these two eyes are able to see only and only with the assistance of Dyuman, who is sun god. So there is not only one factor which is responsible for functioning. There are actually 5 factors which are responsible for any function. Take a function of seeing any object. So first and foremost thing, we should have this gross eyes, this gross organ, and that gross organ is called as Adhisthana Adhibhuta. So this is a description from 3rd canto 6th chapter 12 to 26. So these gross eyes are called as what? Adhisthana Adhibhuta. Then having only this gross eyeball is not sufficient, but we should have mercy of the sense devata, controlling deity. In this case, the controlling deity for eyes are what? Sun god, Dyuman. So that is Adhidaiva, controlling deity. And then along with that, we should have subtle sense object also. Subtle sense object means that is called as ability to see, or it is in the subtle body, and it is called as chakshu. In the case of eyes, it is chakshu. There is a whole description. These are the slokas from 12 to 26. Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Bhagavan ki Jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Balde Subhadra Mai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So there is a whole description in these 15 shlokas, that for which sense object, which is the sense devata, and what is the Adhidaiva and what are the Tanmatras, this whole description is there. You can go in detail. I am just saying about eyes because that description is there in today's verse, that how eyes are able to see. So first we should have this gross eyeball, then we should have sun. Very simple example, when sun is not there in the sky, or when light is not there, are you able to see anything? We are not able to see our own hand as well, isn't it? We are not able to see our own hand as well. And still people think, I am the controller, I am the doer, and I am everything. They are not able to see their own hand without the assistance of sun or any light or something like that. And then the subtle eye sense. Like there we will find there will be some blind people who have eyeball, but still they will be not able to see. Because that chakshu is missing. That subtle sense object may be missing, or they may not have the sanction of the Paramatma. That is fifth thing. Fifth controlling factor. And the fourth controlling factor is the form. Unless and until something is there, will you be able to see it? No. So this is form. Let's suppose this is glass, mic. This is the form. Sense object. This is a sense object. This is a gross organ. Then the subtle organ in the subtle body, which is chakshu in the case of eyes. Then the sense devata, like a sun and Paramatma. So these are the 5 factors involved in anything. These 5 factors should be there to function. And still we think, kartahamiti manyate, that I am the doer, I am the controller. So our situation is very, very hopeless in this world. How our situation is hopeless? See, what do you mean by hopelessness? Hopelessness means fails to solve the situation with all intelligence, power, political influence. Still they will not be able to solve any situation. That is hopelessness. See the modern age. Modern age, everything is very fast. Fast food, fast communication, fast track, fast travel, everything is fast. Fast track, that only. Everything is fast. But because of that, what is happening? Because everything is fast, people are becoming very slow. And they are losing jobs also very fast. So where communication is wireless, food is fatless, and then relationships are baseless, youths are jobless, and that is the whole situation is hopeless. So such an environment is there, and that is modern age. And still people think we are advancing. And the most dangerous factor, or which moves everybody in this world, is fear. Why do people go for working? What they say? Why do you earn the money? Tell loudly. Papi pet ka sawal hai. What they say? Why do people earn the money? Papi pet ka sawal hai. Because of the stomach we have to earn the money. And that is the greatest fear everybody has. And people are conducted by that fear. A manager will give such a very tedious jobs and everything, and still a person will do it very happily, because manager knows he will not leave the job. Why he will not leave the job? Because he has taken the loan, isn't it? If he leaves the job, how will he pay back the loan? So because of this fear, everybody is conducted in this world. So just see how hopeless situation is there. And then the next thing which creates the hopelessness in the people's life is anxiety. Anxiety in earning the money, anxiety in storing it, anxiety in spending it. Everywhere anxiety. Not only about money, but any other thing. When you see our life also and lives of our parents also. When children are small, what is the anxiety of parents? To protect them from some sharp objects and this and that, when they are very small. When they grow, then what is the anxiety? Education. Before that he should not get into bad association and this and that. And education. Then when they are little grown up, 8, 9 standard, what is the anxiety? Marks and mostly bad association. They should not go into bad association. When they are in 11, 12, then what is the anxiety? They should go into IIT or some medical college or this and that. Either a doctor or engineer, no less than that. When they become little more grown up, 21, 22, 23, then what is the anxiety? Job. Before that, job. Otherwise, what is the marriage? You are losing some things. First is job, then marriage. Then the anxiety of marriage. After marriage, what is the anxiety? Children. Children is a big anxiety nowadays. That is why so many hospitals are there. IVF, what they something they called. So much anxiety is there. And after that what? Their education, their marriage, their job and everything. So like that cycle goes on and on and on. So that is anxiety. So much anxiety is involved in that. And another thing leads to that is lamentation. Lamentation about what they are not able to achieve. That is what? That is great lamentation of the people in this world. And next is illusion. What do you mean by illusion? Illusion means covering. I will just show you one thing. So these are 5 types of illusions people are covered with. It comes in a 3.12.2. So there are 5 kinds of layers of illusion. First is tamaha. Tamaha means what? Darkness in self-knowledge. Many people don't know only who they are. What they think, who are they? Body. And that is why they run after the sense pleasure which is coming from the body. How they'll be able to make eyes happy, ears happy, nose happy, tongue happy, or skin happy. That is the only thing. So first ignorance is what? Darkness about self-knowledge. No knowledge about the self. Next is moham. Moham means illusory bodily conception. First is not knowing who they are, and second thing is wrong identification. Identifying with body as all in all. So that is moham. And then maha moham. Maha moham means what? I am this body, and whoever is related to this body, they are mine. So extended selfishness. False proprietorship of enjoyable objects, and as well as the conception that this is my son, this is my father, this is my wife, this is my this and that, I, me, mine. So that is mahamoham, the big illusion. So first is what? Tamaha. No knowledge about the self. Second is moham. That wrong knowledge of the oneself, considering oneself as a body. And then next is mahamoham. False proprietorship, that this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. Ahamkar. What they say? I am my car, ahankar. So that is mahamoham. And the next is tamishram. Tamishram means when they try to acquire these objects, and when they frustrate in their endeavors, then they become angry. When they say this is mine, this is mine, this is mine, and when they are not able to have controllership over them, then they get frustrated. And that leads to what? Anger. So that is tamishram. And next is andhatamishra. Andhatamishra means what? That anger leads to bewilderment of memory and unconscious state. They reach to what state? Unconscious state, and they are not able to understand who they are. And they will do anything and everything. Sometimes people slap also, sometimes people break their TVs also. Sometimes I had one, my Atya's husband. Whenever India will lose the match, he will take his mobile and throw onto the wall. So what is that? This unconscious state brought from by the anger. So one day he broke the TV also. So that is very unconscious state brought by the anger. Sometimes in anger, people will say something to their own friend also. And they will not look here, there, anywhere. Sometimes they slap also. When we go to buses and trains and this and that, we are able to see these situations. So these are the 5 illusory things. And because of all these things, our situation is very hopeless in this material world. And top of that, there are miseries of this material world. What are the miseries? Birth, old age, disease, death. These are the 4 basic problems. And Adidevik, Adibhautik, and Adhyatmik. Still people think, let us make this world better place for living. Still what people think? Let us make this world better place for living. Yeah. And then this hopelessness, when somebody is hopeless, from this hopelessness, his dependence on Lord should develop. When he is hopeless like this, he should develop his dependence on the Lord. But without having that, what happens in this world? This is what. Hopelessness should lead to the helpless surrender to Krishna. But instead of having that, people become crazy. and lead to destructive habits, self-destructive habits. When they are hopeless, when they think that I am hopeless in this world, nothing is going my way. So what they do? Gum mein rum pina chahiye. Isn't it? When they think their situation is very hopeless, they lead to self-destructive habits. Or they'll try to adjust their situation somehow in this world. They say, Arey, and Indians are best in that, jugad. Whenever there is a problem, they will try to somehow adjust their life and they will make slogans from that. Kabhi khushi, kabhi gum. No problem. They will make life like this theory. Life is not, they make different theories about the life. What is life all about? One theory is this, kabhi khushi, kabhi gum. For them, they say that if we find happiness always, then we'll get frustrated with the happiness. So sometimes we should have some misery also in between so that we should not lose the taste of happiness. So that we should have the very good taste of happiness. It is like saying, to know the taste of halwa, sometimes we should taste stool also. It is like saying like that. But the best is this hopelessness should lead to helpless surrender to Krishna. And that will happen only when there is an intervention of devotee. When there is an intervention of devotees in our life, then they turn this hopeless situation to helpless situation. And that is what is Spurti camp. All of you remember 3 C's? Condition, conditioning, cutthroat, competition. So what is that about? In that we explain how is the hopeless situation in this world. And so that from there we should go to helplessness towards Krishna. And that is what devotees do. That is what is devotee's life. Sometimes there is a hopelessness in spiritual endeavor as well. Sometimes you may say, Prabhuji, hopelessness is not only in the material world. When we practice Krishna consciousness, sometimes we also feel hopeless. Prabhuji, nothing is happening. No anarthas are going. On top of that, anarthas are increasing. How many of you face this problem? That Prabhuji, we are feeling that anarthas are increasing instead of decreasing. So what is happening? Anarthas are not increasing, but we are able to see the anarthas. Chanting is what? Chanting is churning of the heart. So when heart is churned, anarthas come to surface. Then we are able to see those anarthas. Before, we are so much covered over by these 5 layers of ignorance that we are not able to see also that I am having anarthas. And that is what everybody thinks. That is scientific process. Everybody thinks when he comes to Krishna consciousness, he thinks only lust is there. I don't have pride, I don't have envy, I don't have illusion, no anger. Only little bit lust is there. I'll chant 1 year very nicely and I will get rid of this lust, I'll become pure devotee. Isn't it? How many experiences like this? Very nice. So I also used to feel like that. When our seniors used to hear lectures on anger, on envy, pride and this and that, I used to feel, why they have to hear these lectures? They have this problem. I don't have any problem. Like that I used to think. But when little progress was there, progress in little chanting happened, then we are able to see those anarthas, what anarthas are there inside. So this hopeless situation, we also get hopeless sometimes in our endeavors in Krishna consciousness. But that hopeless situation should turn to helpless surrender to Krishna. And that is what is Mother Yashoda. When she was binding Krishna by the rope, always that rope is to fall short by 2 fingers. Now the Damodar month is coming, fast approaching, just 7 days. So that endeavors, Miss Mother Yashoda was endeavoring. And ultimately she was becoming hopeless. But she was not giving up the endeavor. It comes in shloka number 10, 9, 19. You can note down the shlokas and you can see. Shloka number 10.9.19. That endeavors of Mother Yashoda are described there. So there is a one word called as Swamatuhu. Swamatu means by her own motherly affection, she was trying to bind Krishna. So she was not giving up her endeavor. She was doing, and finally Krishna became happy with her. And then Krishna allowed himself to be bound. Another thing, which is our Ram Navami is coming now. Sorry, not Ram Navami. Dasera is coming tomorrow. So when monkeys were going in search of Mother Sita, and when they reached the ocean shore, they became hopeless. Arey abhi idhar tak aa gaye, isse aage kya? What next? Where is Mother Sita? Nowhere. So they were thinking that if we go back, what will happen? Sugriva will kill us. Because we could not find Mother Sita. So what Sugriva will do? He will kill us. So better than that, And if we tell Ramchandra that we could not find Mother Sita, then he will die. And if Ramchandra dies, then who will die? All Yashoda, all Ayodhya Vasis will die. Hmm? All Ayodhya Vasis will die. So who will become the cause of their death? We will become cause of their death. So better we should not go back and we should stay here and fast till death. So much hopelessness came. Hmm? But then finally, Sampati was there, the brother of Jatayu. When he heard these monkeys are going to fast for death, fast till death, then they became very happy. Then he became very happy. Oh, I'll get a food for so long time now. All monkeys will become my food. Thank you. So then, when they heard, then they said, because this is everything is because of this Kaikei. Because of this Kaikei, Ramchandra was sent to Vanvas, and because of that, Jatayu also died, and this and that. And when Sampati heard the name of Jatayu, then he became, you know Jatayu? He is my brother. Tell me something more about that. And then they started telling. And then Sampati showed them the ray of hope. From hopelessness to helplessness. Here again, intervention of a devotee or intervention of some person is coming in between to take them from hopeless situation to helpless situation. So we also, when we become hopeless in our life, approach some devotee. So he will turn that hopelessness to helpless surrender to Krishna. Then we'll become happy in our life. How they became happy? So similarly, monkeys, when Sampati interfered, they could see where is Mother Sita. And then again, the problem was how to reach that side of the ocean. Then they were helplessly dependent on the Lord. And then Jambavan, remember, he told Hanumanji his powers and everything. And finally, Hanumanji jumped over the ocean and brought the news. And when he brought the news, all the monkeys became happy. They started jumping, catching their tail, and Hari Bol, like that, Jai Shri Ram, like that they were dancing. So this hopelessness in spiritual life may come, but don't be get enamored by that or don't get bogged up by that. When this hopelessness comes, approach a devotee. He will turn that hopelessness into helpless surrender to Krishna. And what is this helpless surrender to Krishna? That is what is the episode of Pingala. So it comes in 11th canto, chapter number 8. 11th canto, chapter 8. So this 11th canto, 6, 7, 8 chapter, they talk about the 24 gurus of Avadhuta Brahman. What they talk about? 24 gurus of Avadhuta Brahmana. So there was an Avadhuta Brahmana and he was learning different things from the different gurus. And one of the guru was the Pingala, the prostitute. She was prostitute by the profession, but she, from her also, Avadhuta Brahmana could learn the vital lesson. Now we need not to go to somewhere to learn these lessons. We can come to Bhagavatam class and learn these lessons. Otherwise you may say, Prabhuji, I will also go and learn the lessons. No. The Avadhuta Brahman has already learned the lesson and we will understand that. So what is the story of Pingla says? Pingla, every day she used to stand at the door and think that this person will satisfy me, that person will satisfy me, this person will give me money, that person will give me money. So it is like she was trying to please different masters. What she was doing, now please remember, please understand this. It is very, very important to understand for all of us in our life. If we want to helplessly surrender to Krishna, then we should have proper understanding of this one lesson here, which Pingla is teaching us. So see, Pingla was trying to surrender, or Pingla was trying to get happiness from surrendering to different masters. But nobody was able to give that satisfaction. Every day different person. And one day she was waiting, but nobody came. And that day, that frustration led to helpless surrender to Krishna and depending on the Krishna totally. And then what she says, we'll go to actual shlokas. Pingla Uvacha. See here, Pingla is speaking, she is singing this song. So in the material existence, all of the senses are attracted to different sense object, and thus conditioned soul becomes first class fool. This is what is told by Pingla. See here. Just see how greatly illusioned I am, because I cannot control my mind. Just like a fool, I desired lusty pleasures from the insignificant man. So here, we consider that Pingla as oneself and man as our master, whoever is employing us. So those who are doing job, for them man is their boss, or in that sense you can see it. So what we do? Because I cannot control my mind, just like a fool, I desire lusty pleasures from an insignificant man. Ahead. Instead, I have ignorantly served. Okay, we'll read this fully. I am such a fool that I have given up the service of that person who, being eternally situated within my heart, is actually most dear to me. About whom she is talking? Paramatma. The most dear one is the Lord of the universe, who is the bestower of real love and happiness, and the source of all prosperity. Although he is in my own heart, I have completely neglected him. This is like most of our situation. That Lord is the most dear friend, he is Suruda. But we have forgotten it, and we are surrendering to different masters. Sometimes somebody may surrender to Oracle Master, and he thinks that he is not able to pay me much. Then he will surrender to Deloitte Master. Then Deloitte is also not giving me much salary. So he will surrender to Google Master. Then Google is also not giving me sufficient salary. So he will go to Microsoft Master or Amazon or whatever. What is this? Surrendering to different masters and trying to get happiness. That is what this prostitute is telling. Prostitute means what? Not chaste to one person. So jumping from one master to another master is what? That mentality only. Instead, I have ignorantly served the insignificant men who can never satisfy my real desires, who have simply brought me unhappiness, fear, anxiety, and illusion. That is what I explained. When we saw the hopeless situation, what brings hopelessness in the life? These 5 things. Unhappiness, fear, anxiety, lamentation, and illusion. So he has served most in... it is very important here. Pingla laments that she chose to serve most sinful and useless men. So when we serve some masters, those are sinful and useless men, our situation will also be like this. And more or less, those who are employers, they are in this category. So we have to be a little careful to whom we are surrendering to. We should choose the best master, who is Krishna. And his representatives who are like Srila Prabhupada. She falsely thought that they would bring her happiness and neglected to serve the actual Lord. Our situation is also like that. We think that the different people will give me happiness, give me some perks, give me some incentives and this and that. But that is very difficult. And now, can somebody read this? Take the mic. Take the mic, this one. Arundan Prabhu, Trivan Prabhu, read.
The prostitute was proud of her ability to please men, but she now laments that she did not try to please the Supreme Lord by loving service.
Wait. So, prostitute was proud of her ability to please men means we are also sometimes proud to have the ability to please our managers, isn't it? And we think that my value is not only 10 LPA, my value is 15 LPA, my value is 20 LPA, something like that. So what is that? We are proud of our ability to do some job and everything. Just go ahead.
The Supreme Lord is completely aloof from the transactions of the material world. Lord Krishna is the actual enjoyer of everyone and everything. But one must learn how to please the Lord by pure spiritual service.
So, but if we learn to depend on the Lord, helplessly surrendering to Him, then we'll be happy, enjoying. Yes, read this.
Like the prostitute Pingala, one should understand that by giving up the devotional service of the Lord, one simply becomes the victim of the illusory energy and suffers greatly.
So if we are able to understand this by our hopeless situation, then we are at the great gain. We will gain greatly. So there are more things in this. Yes, Read this.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is absolutely the most dear one for all living entities because He is everyone's well-wisher and Lord. He is the Supreme Soul situated in everyone's heart. Therefore, I will now pay the price of complete surrender.
That's it. So, what she is telling here, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is why we should surrender. Now question may come now, okay, I am hopeless and helpless. And helplessly I should surrender to somebody. But then why should I surrender to Krishna only? Because Krishna is our supreme well-wisher. Not only well-wisher, but supreme well-wisher. He is a supreme soul in a situated in everybody's heart. That is why we should surrender to Him. Why we should surrender to Krishna? Because He is our supreme well-wisher. And nobody can surpass Him in giving shelter to His dependents. Anybody can surrender to Him and He can give shelter to anybody. Even when Vibhishan came to surrender to Ramchandra, then Ramchandra accepted him. Even though Sugri was telling and many other monkeys were telling, oh Ramchandra, he is the brother of enemy. Anytime he can change. Why are you accepting him? Then Ramchandra says that if somebody takes shelter of me even once, then I will never give him up. When there was one thorn into the feet of Ramchandra, lotus feet of Ramchandra, Lakshman said that, my dear Lord, I will remove it. Ramchandra said, that thorn has taken shelter of my lotus feet. Not lotus feet, he said that thorn has taken shelter of my feet. And this is my solemn vow, that whoever takes shelter of my feet, I never give them up. So that is what is Ramchandra. So even though it may be painful, it is not painful to him, but still, even if it is painful to him, he will never give up that person. That is what is Ramchandra. And then he said, he did coronation of Vibhishan and said that you will be the king of Lanka. Then people said that if Ravana surrenders to you, then what? Then he said that I will give him Ayodhya. But Ayodhya is already with Bharata. What will happen to Bharat? I will give him the spiritual kingdom. And then what will happen to you? I will rule over everybody's heart. So that is Ramchandra. Because he is the supreme most. And even if somebody says only once, oh my dear Ramchandra, I am yours. Just if somebody says this once, Ramchandra will never give him up. That is what is Bada Dukha Payachi Swatandra Jivane Dukha Dure Gelo O Padavarane. So when in our helpless situation, we should not be independently trying to adjust the things, but helplessly depend on Krishna the way a small child is dependent on Krishna. Not even small child, and sometimes due to our some inabilities, we have to depend on others. So when this hand injury was there, I was not able to wash clothes and everything, so I had to depend on others. So that time we can understand how helpless we are, how helplessly we are dependent. Sometimes we may undergo some disease and everything and we will not be able to get up also. So that time we understand how helpless we are. But when everything is fine, we think, everything is there. Now with this hand I cannot lift more than 1.5 kg. If I try to lift, it will pain. Now we understand that what Lord has given to us. At that time we think, Lord is so merciful. But when everything is going fine, we think, what Lord has done for me? Nothing. So, when we helplessly depend on Krishna, then we become happy. Is it just a theoretical or is it real practical? Just see how do we become happy. The happiness in Krishna consciousness is eternal and without any cessation. There is no gap in happiness. When we dance and chant, is there any cessation in happiness? No, it is eternal. Does any time you feel morose while dancing in Kirtan? Not at all. Every time we feel happy. You will not find anybody crying and dancing. He may be crying out of ecstasy, but not because of misery. And then now what we will be doing, we will be comparing. See here in the one of the slide, I showed these 3 things, these 6 things: fear, anxiety, lamentation, illusion, and miserable world. So how surrendering to Krishna will remove all these things? So the second one was fear. So how do we become fearless? By surrendering onto Krishna, how do we become fearless? Take an example of a boy, a small child. When he goes onto the street And when dog barks at him, what he will do? Run away from there. But the same child is walking with his father and dog starts barking at him. What he will do? He'll take stone and throw at him. From where the strength is coming? From where the strength is coming? From father. Father is there with him, na? Then he will even, he will do like that to that dog and throw the stone at him. So when we are with the Father, Supreme Father, then we become fearless. It is not that problems will not be there in our life. Problems will be there. But we'll get strength to fight those problems. We will tell Krishna, we will tell this problem, you are not big. Krishna is there with me. Krishna is your master. Krishna is Bapanu Bap. He is the father of the father. So he can eradicate all the problems, no problem. So there is no fear when we are with Krishna. Then the another thing we saw was anxiety. So in Krishna consciousness, there is no anxiety and there is no lamentation. Why there is anxiety? Generally, why people are in anxiety in this world? Expectations are not met and outcome is not sure. That is why anxiety is there. What will happen to me? What will not happen to me? But our goal is clear. So no ambiguity about the goal. When goal is clear, then there is no anxiety that I am going to achieve it. And then in the spiritual life, anxiety is not there because whatever we invest, that goes into Shashwat bank. That does not go to Diwala bank. What do you mean by Shashwat bank? That is eternal bank balance. Diwala means jiska Diwala nikalne wala hai. The bank which is going to become bankrupt. That is Diwala bank. So any amount of endeavors we do in this material world, all are going to become zero over the period of time. Next life when we take birth, I cannot say, I have done my BTech and MTech from IIT, this and that. Now I will start my degree from there ahead. Can we claim? No. Can you tell Kartikpur that last birth, I did BTech from Srinidhi. Now you give me admission to MTech. We cannot say like that. We have to start from Baba Black Sheep. So there is no waste of time in spiritual world. And returns are guaranteed. Whatever we are going to get, it is guaranteed. And then the most happy moments in our life are bringing other people to the bhakti. And when we see them wearing dhoti kurta, bright white and white in Utkarsha camps and everything, we become all the more happy. Isn't it? So that is why Prabhupada gave the name as Bhavananda to one of his disciples. What is that Bhavananda? That is the happiness in this material world. What is that happiness? Preaching is the happiness. And this prostitute, this Pingla, what we are discussing, that it shows about detachment. She became detached from that so-called happiness derived from the serving the different masters, and she became happy because of detaching from this material world. So we can learn from Pingla that we should not sell ourselves to unworthy masters in this world. One thing is remaining, just a minute. I'm forgetting it. So the last line in the purport was, although he is very much proud of his powers to see and hear, he is nonetheless dependent on assistance of nature. So our whole class was dependent on this, that although somebody is very much proud that I can do this, I can do that, but our situation is hopeless in this material world. So unless until one depend on the Lord, he will not be happy in his life. So that is how we can go from hopelessness to helpless to become happy in this world. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Any questions, any comments here? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the wonderful class. Prabhuji, you were giving this analogy where the child is fearless when there is father around and he gains strength from father's presence. So how can we in our lives feel the presence of the Lord? Currently our conditioning is very gross in nature, and we believe in things which are directly grossly identifiable to us. So how can we feel that presence of Lord, and how we can feel that mercy of Lord?
Lord is present for all of us in the form of his books. What is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is a song of the God. What is Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam is about the Lord. So it is not that Lord is not present, because as you said, we are very gross people. So we need some gross things to identify with. So what we should identify with? God has given us the manual how to lead the life. That is one gross object we can identify with. Another gross thing he had given is spiritual master. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavana Jiv Guru Krishna Prasad by Bhakti Lata Bij. So it is by the mercy of Lord we have got our spiritual master. The wonderful master like Srila Prabhupada, who will not cheat us. The masters of this material world are there to cheat us. So-called masters. Whoever you try to please in this material world, they cannot satisfy us fully. Only the wonderful master like Srila Prabhupada will please us, because they don't have any independent agenda. Why they will not cheat us? Because they don't have any independent agenda. So that is second gross thing which we can identify with, that how Krishna is helping me. Third thing, Krishna had given us the culture of association of devotees. Okay, books are there, spiritual master is there. But if culture of association of devotees is not there, then it becomes very difficult to practice. And the practical example is when we go to home, what happens to us we know. There is one-eyed demon, TV. People sit in front of it and keep watching with potato chips and this and that, like couch potato. But whenever, and there also if devotee calls us and he asks, Prabhu, what are you doing? No, Prabhuji, I was just completing my chanting. So, because just by having this fear that devotees will call me and they will ask me about chanting, we complete our chanting. So that is third thing by which we can experience the love of God or help of God in our life. Then he has given us prasadam. Isn't it? Without prasadam, there is nobody will come for your classes. If you don't give them prasadam, what will the count in classes? Very, very few. I have practical experience. I started preaching in People City. Initial 4 or 5 classes, we were not giving prasadam. Only 4 or 5 people were coming. No kirtan, no prasadam. So only 4 or 5. As soon as we started kirtan and prasadam, 50 people are coming. So we are the example of that only. I used to come for prasadam only. In the beginning, they used to give nice sweet rice and different prasadam. So Krishna had given us prasadam. Then to engage ourselves, our mind and senses properly, he has given us services. Our services are for Krishna's sake or for our sake? They are for our sake. Krishna does not want our services. Does Krishna need of services? He is Atmaram. But he has given us these services to engage ourselves in his service. So we should be grateful. So these are the different things and many more which are awarded by Krishna to us. Wonderful training we have, what we are getting. That is awarded by Krishna. It is not just by chance it has come. How many people in this world are there, those are getting this wonderful training? Very few. Even in Iskcon, how many Iskcon temples are there where such training program goes on? Very few, counted on. So here is a great arrangement done by Vedanta Chaitanya and other devotees to have such a wonderful training program, where every Sunday around 1,000 congregation devotees are coming to temple to take this training program. That is what? That is the mercy of Guru Parampara and Krishna. So many times now we are not able to understand. We take these things for granted. And training, okay, no problem. We think that it is for their sake. It is not for their sake. It is for our sake. So Krishna had given us training, he had given us spiritual master, he had given us the association of devotees, he has given us books, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and he has given us his own darshan. Krishna is non-different than this. Madan Mohan is like this only. In spiritual world, he looks like this. It is not that it is his representation. It is not the representation. He is Lord himself. He is like this only in a spiritual world. Radharani is like this only in spiritual world. So they are there. So he has given us so many things. So he is there for us. Okay? Thank you. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, wonderful class. Thank you very much. Prabhuji, my question is more to do with the Pingala example that you have given. So she has, in hopelessness, she has surrendered to Krishna. And you have also related that to we getting associated with this company, that company, etc. And now taking the shelter of Krishna, with Pingala's example also, it's not that easy, like surrendering to Krishna, and there is enormous faith that is also required. So how do we cultivate that faith? Probably in the previous example you have touched upon that also, but can you, how to cultivate that faith? Because when I surrender to Krishna, I am leaving something which is grossly available to me, which I can realize. But this one is not immediately seen by my material conceptions. So you need to develop that enormous faith in what we are surrendering to. So how do we develop that faith is my question, Prabhu. Probably more candid answer.
Just before answering your question, in between, at the end I told na, that I forgot something. So you reminded me of that. That when Pingala surrendered to Krishna, she surrendered out of frustration. She surrendered out of frustration, but gradually that frustration turned into the love because of in association of people, in association of like-minded devotees. So when we are hopeless also, in hopelessness, we may surrender to Krishna. It is because of Artha Arthati Jijnasu Gyani. We may be in that category. But from there, we progress ahead, and it is not that Pingala surrendered to Krishna only to get relief. That is Mayavad tendency. To surrender to the Supreme or to become free from this world, to free from the anxiety. That is why they take shelter of Krishna. That is not our goal. This frustration will lead to surrender, but when once we surrender, come in association of devotees, then those motives are purified. That is what I wanted to tell. As I said, I forgot. And what Prabhu is asking, that when we surrender to Krishna and we give up some material things, then we are not able to do that wholeheartedly. Because as of now, material things are giving us pleasure. And we don't have so much taste for Krishna consciousness, so that pleasure is not coming from there. So how to give it up and how to accept that? That is the question. Okay. So it is not that in Krishna consciousness, we are not happy. What we have to give up in material world is very tiny, puny, so-called pleasure. It is not, we need not to give up eating. We can have wonderful prasadam. It is not that somebody is asking you to give up the eating. It is just like that you give up the wrong things which are even harmful to your own body. Like meat and everything, it is harmful to the body. So when we give up some things in this material world, they are like a giving up the stool. When we pass the stool, we don't become unhappy. Arre, mera 1 kilo weight kam ho gaya. We don't feel like that. So what will inspire us to give up these wrong things is intelligence. Is a spiritual intelligence. So what is lacking is the scriptural study and the understanding. Shastra Chakshu is lacking. When we get that Shastra Chakshu, then we don't lament for the wrong thing. We don't lament for giving up the things in this material world. We will not lament. Unless and until that ignorance is there, that this is giving me happiness, we will lament about that. So what is the solution? Solution is develop Shastra Chakshu by reading and hearing the scriptures. Then it becomes easy to give up the things of this material world. We will not hanker for that. Otherwise that hankering will remain. Because it is told, and the second solution given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is regulation. It comes in a Bhagavad Gita 3.37, that shloka comes, Mahashana Mahapapma Vidyaham Vairina. So for that Krishna tells a solution, that regulation, you have to be regulated in your life. this sensation, okay, or sitting place. Therefore, Arjuna, best of Bharatas, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of the knowledge and self-realization. So, what we have to do? We need not to give up the things but regulate it. Like suppose if somebody has habit of eating non-veg, so he can replace it by eating paneer and everything. So there is a dowtelling tendency. We can dowtell the things in Krishna consciousness and derive that happiness from that. If somebody has habit of hearing rock and pop music, what he can do? He can hear some Krishna conscious rock pop music, no problem. And then slowly that taste will go and he will develop the taste. If somebody has tendency of doing business, so he can do business for Krishna. And that way he can purify his tendencies. So like that we can do. So thank you very much. So we'll conclude here for today. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.